Welcome back to my garage. First up, the reason I'm just keeping on pushing with this pipe and obviously the engine doesn't run properly, and it's because there's a possibility, I'm not saying it's a certainty, but it's a possibility that these problems I'm experiencing now aren't reflected up in the RPM range where the engine is supposed to work properly. So it doesn't mean that, for me at least, this doesn't mean that there's something fundamentally wrong with the engine design. It just means that something with this engine design makes it really hard to start or run at low RPM. And that really short pipe is interfering too much. Because you see, there's not that much experience, I think, in running such a short pipe on a two-stroke. Because anything larger than 50cc, and you can't, or you won't design a pipe for such high RPM because all the spinning components can't support that kind of RPM. Like, things will fall apart because of the inertia and stuff, the mass. So I think, and maybe, just maybe, like people have been trying to use short pipes like this to get peak power up to like 17, 18,000, 19, 20,000 RPM. And then experienced problems like I'm having, and then just written that kind of setup off as something that doesn't work, and started experimenting with longer pipes that does work for starting and stuff like that, like we've experienced here. So what I'm trying to say is that that's not for me. I want to test this, even though there's a high possibility there is something fundamentally wrong and it doesn't work, but that's what I like to do. Not go like, when something doesn't work, I'm not going for a tried and true solution with something that does work, because where's the fun in that? And where's the point? For me at least, there's no point in like using that long pipe because it does work, and then start tuning the engine and see what we can get out of it, because I know that we can't get enough power if we shoot for a low RPM in 50cc, because there's just so much torque you can get from 50cc, and you have to be able to produce that kind of torque, like say 11 Newton meters at really high RPM, to get meaningful power out of a 50cc engine. And I know the port area can support high torque or acceptable torque at high RPM. So that's why I'm using this pipe, because the pipe is tuned for really high RPM. And there is a possibility it will work. But for now, we have to work with the issues of getting it started. Talking about that, Rexy sent me a message. You might know him. He's been in the YouTube game for much longer than I have. He said, can't you just reduce the ratio, so run a smaller pulley on the engine, so that it will be easier so the gearbox friction won't affect it so much. And yes I can. I can't believe I didn't think of that myself. So that's the first thing we're gonna try. There's also been I'm trying to read as many comments as I can, and I'm not the best at replying these days. I'm working on it, working on sorting my priorities when I'm not out here. But I know there's been some people suggesting some decompression, a decompression valve, and I don't want to install a decompression valve in the head, but we could try like loosening off the spark plug a tiny bit so that it will start, but and then tighten it when it's running, if that makes it spin up to higher RPM. But first, let's try with a smaller pulley on the engine and see if I can get my starter to pull it into high enough RPM to get it running with the gearbox connected. And of course, we could fabricate a starting system for the dyno and stuff like that. But I would need to buy some stuff like a big electric motor or maybe a gas engine or something for that. And at the moment, there's no funds available for that. I'm a little bit behind after my break this summer for fixing myself. Anyways, let's try the smaller pulley and I'm hoping I have a belt that's short enough. I thought this was the right size. I'll see if I can find one that's not bored out. I think I've got one. If I didn't, or maybe I machined the one I think I machined the other one, the wider one. I think I machined off all the sprocket features and used that for the driver for the blower actually. I'll have to look around. So this used to be one of these with a smaller hole that fit this axle. We can make an adapter. I'm just gonna see if I can find another one. I think I had another one. And maybe. Fucking hell. Tripping the breaker again. I thought I fixed the problem by removing chips from the control box here, but obviously not. Well, at least now this will have ample time to dry while I find the problem. Okay, I'll bring you back when we're back in business. Crossing fingers. I haven't done anything, I've just turned it on and off a bunch of times without the breaker connected or engaged. I'll let it cool down a little bit before I do the final machining, because it's fairly hot now. I think that's a good one. As long as the tensioner can tension it. Might be a tiny bit too long. Yeah. Let's hope the shorter one is not too short. That's definitely too short. There's no place for me to drill a hole. Ah. It's loose, but maybe it's like good enough for testing. Could really use a shorter one, but I think maybe for testing purposes this will be okay. Maybe. So now there should be less drag when I try starting it, because there's a reduction down to the gearbox versus direct drive like last time. I think we're getting somewhere. I'll clean up the area and I'll see if I'm able to actually have it spin the wheel. Yes! 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 Thank you, Rexy! Thank you! I didn't think of that. Well, now the gearing to the dyno is not ideal, but we'll see. Let's see if there's actually any power here. We got abruptly shut down when this fell off the exhaust, ripped off the exhaust. It's that square peg in round hole thing I made for starting, which isn't necessary anymore. Now that we followed Rex's advice about just gearing down the gearbox. And someone also suggested pulling the clutch while it was in neutral, and it definitely ran smoother or easier while doing that, obviously. So bunch of things which I feel I should have like come up with myself, but well, here we are. Anyways, my dyno software didn't want to, like some kind of bug or something happened and I couldn't get it to start the run. So well, it started the run immediately, shut down, and then I wasn't able to start another one. And then this happened. But it's the first time this engine is singing sweet like that. First time in so many years. And, it feels like there's power now, and it wants to rev, and it feels like the only issues now is like getting fueling right and playing with the ignition timing and stuff like that. It really revs, and so that's it. We're gonna end the video here. I think this is the most successful ending I've had in so many years. Thanks for watching. See you next time.